Welcome back. That HiFi show, and I've got a parts list together, and just put my crayons away, and so we've got a little diagram with some notes ready to drop it for y'all. Just a couple minutes to spend for that. I just want to get it out there, and I want to correct myself. Something that keeps bothering me about the last video, the one on the circuit. And I need to calm down. I'm loaded up on coffee again. The whole house seems to be excited, including myself. Okay, so back over here, I want to point out that I did it and I just kept doing it. I kept saying amplification instead of gain. And if you just remember I said that, and if you happen to watch the other video, cut me a break. I'm not perfect. So, all right. Let's take a look at the parts list. And this is fairly complete. And let me see if I can get a good shot. There's the whole thing. I don't know if you can freeze frame, maybe on your television set. Do we call it a television set? Get some of this other stuff out of the... Okay, so... that's it. That's pretty complete. You may choose a different component here or there. In regards to the transformers, it's a choose one or the other kind of thing. And I personally would not choose one over the other. There's no, the 120 is no slouch. It's going to be no slouch. That is a good version of this circuit, is to keep it at that voltage. I forget what that translates into, DC, but you should be on the order of 70 volts on the first stage, and heck, it could be 150 on the second with that transformer. No matter, that's going to function perfectly. In fact, it's going to be a nice, quiet, and robust preamp. The other would be like a typical, what I'm working with that latest build there. Mine was an old school center tap 250, and this is 250 VAC. Not sure if it's got a center tap. It may have, in which case you could certainly do tube rectified. And wouldn't that be cool? But anyhow, let me skim it one more time. Antique Electronics Supply, AES. Tubesandmore.com. And they are the shibby for everything. They're wonderful. Their prices are fantastic. Their shipping is immediate. They're terrific. And they know what they're doing. They know what we're building. And so it's a cool hangout. Their website is a really cool hangout. And a great place to get parts or just thumb through what's out there. I'll tell you a little bit about some vacuum tubes. They keep an inventory of vacuum tubes. Anyway, I'm droning on. But, and then there's the A word at the top there, Amazon. And I definitely get my resistors from there, because you look at that. It's a pack of 1,000. I didn't write that down on there. Or any old pack you want. I'm going to recommend you buy 1 watt metal film. And you'll be happy with those, and you won't really have to worry about what part of the circuit you're using them on, and you won't ever overwork them. Those are You can get away with most of this circuit with 1/4 watt, but you didn't hear that from me. So one more time, there's the whole list. And just about every time I calculated for pretty average components, I kept coming up 150, 151, 153. And that was me going through AES, choosing different pretty average choices or above average choices for the capacitors, you know, that kind of thing. And I went through, and the same thing with the power supply capacitors. Even though I'm not picky about my electrolytics, I tend to not use them in my power supplies. I use polys all throughout, typically. I'll tell you that. You could definitely sub those. I usually stick with 2 or 3 microfarad. And, you know, like in the power supply. But like my power supply would have 1 or 2 or 3 extra legs to it. I call that, this is your RC filter network, basically. When you're shimming up voltage and everything, what you don't want to leave hanging out is you want to stop at your null or your node points, which is where they come together. You wouldn't want to stick another resistor out here. In terms of build, you should keep that separate from your power supply. It's good form, and I'll tell you why. The why is because that's a critical component, and it's known as the plate resistor. And you could put it back there and run a wire down here, but this is proper. And we'll let you get into the swing of things and understanding that that's the critical component that AC and DC goes through. And it messes with your impedance between stages. In fact, that is typically your next stage impedance, input impedance. That would be V2 input impedance if we weren't, if we didn't have a kind of a funky circuit. All right, one more time, the parts list, skimming it. There's a bird's eye of my diagram. Some terrible lighting. There we go. Can you glim that pretty good? I'll get a picture of this and I'll put it in my on my channel page. I'm going to skim it a couple times and I'm going to wrap it up here because I got some stuff I got to do. I just wanted to get this out. That'd be a good look at the power supply. Pretty simple. Or not. Power supply is a good place for you to get creative, but that's the basics. Basics right there. Doesn't look much different from that, does it? Okay. This thing running through here is the ground bus. That's how I would build it. You don't have to do it my way. My next go around, I'm going to go with 50K on the pots. This preamp is very loud. in almost everything I've ever had it in, actually. It's not just in my system. It's pretty loud. And I've never tried a 50 on it. It always freaked me out to do that. I don't know why. I'm kind of a high input impedance kind of guy. That's the one other thing I wanted to explain about the cathode follower. It is indeed, here, let's zoom in. Hey there, one last service announcement. I just wanted to say, if you do find yourself on AES shopping, I just wanted to put in a plug. They're generic resistors, the 650 polys and the metal film polys or whatever they are fantastic, and they are dirt cheap. There's no reason not to use them. There's nothing really that outperforms them. They're pennies on the dollar compared to everything else. There's a couple cool everything else's though. That audio filer capacitor they have, I can verify I use it. And it's pretty middle of the road cheap, and it's a nice little thing. See ya.